All right, hey everyone, welcome to the Jazz Piano School podcast. Welcome back. My name is Brendan Lowe, creator and founder of Jazz Piano School. This is going to be episode number 187, and it's going to be taught by one of our amazing educators named Trent Bryden. Now, as you can see, I got my quarantine beard going. I've been shedding a lot. I've actually been getting into Logic Pro more and playing around with that for all this online music we're doing. But this particular episode is going to be about architecting a solo piano form, right? Or solo piano concepts, I should say. And so what happens is that when we go to play a solo piano, a lot of times we're in a rut and we don't really have any direction, right? We don't have any constraints. And the lack of structure can be very freeing, but can also kind of be boring at the same time because we don't really know what direction to go, right? We can get lost, we can wander around aimlessly. So in this particular podcast lesson, Trent is going to talk about architecting different shapes, concepts, that are really going to help you take control of your solo piano playing and help you improve drastically. So it's a really, really fun one. I loved a lot of the education that he taught in here, and I know you are going to love it too. So that being said, let's dive right into this episode. Here we go.
What's up, guys? This is Trent Bryden with Jazz Piano School, and today we are going to be talking about solo piano architecture. So when we're playing solo piano, it's really helpful to design the flow of an arrangement. With no constraints, playing solo can quickly become boring to both the player and the listener. By developing concepts to shape your arrangements, you'll achieve a greater sense of freedom in your playing and have confidence in your performance. So here is just one blueprint that I've been developing using the tune There Will Never Be Another You. So real quickly, I'm just going to run down the different components. So first, there's a solo arrangement. That's a note-for-note thing that's kind of played rubato or out of time. That gets us into a vamp section, which is just two chords and rhythmically just setting the groove for the piece. And then there's four choruses of improvising. The first is simple lines with left-hand bass notes or bass lines. The second chorus is, a little more complex lines, ramping it up, and with left-hand chords. And this is just like the most natural flow of the whole thing. Not really holding back, you're just kind of going. Third chorus is taking it outside, which is using, some different concepts and techniques to get some outside sounds. And the fourth chorus is reflecting the solo arrangement. So you have to have a solo arrangement before you can do that step. And then finally, we're going to take the vamp out and play a little bit of the melody over the vamp. So, to start out, you want to be able to improvise over the piece, over the changes, really without any difficulty. And that step takes, it could take anywhere from a couple weeks to a couple months, depending on the difficulty of the tune. But basically, you just want a left-hand chord line, and you want to be able to just flow eighth notes without worrying about it. So I'm going to demonstrate that just for a little bit, and this has been worked up over, for me, I think like a month. So. Okay. So that was me just kind of blowing with no restraints, some mistakes in there, but just the point is just feeling comfortable with doing that. And even when you make those mistakes, you're not lost, you know where you are, you can just keep going. And then the next steps, so that's basically what I did there is pretty much what the second course is going to be, that complex kind of lines with the left-hand chords. And then we're going to kind of stretch this out in two directions. One is making it simpler, and one is giving it a little more form, or a little more concepts that you're inserting in there, not just free-blowing. So the first part's nice and easy. You're just going to make it simpler, and you're just going to play left-hand bass notes / lines and really strip back those melodic lines. So, you want to hear stuff that you're not playing. So here's an example of that. All right, so that's holding back a little bit, and then after that is when you're going to get back into this flowing that you've been working on for a month or so, and then next is a really fun part, which is putting in some concepts to play outside a little bit, and these are things you want to work out and have some things guiding you, not just playing random notes that try to sound outside. I mean, you could do that. It's just not as satisfying to you or the listener. So I'll show you a couple outside concepts that I've been using over this that you might take for yourself, or at the very least just get an idea of what it's like. So first of all, I'm going to emphasize the sharp 11 on the E flat. So instead of, we're going to hit that A natural, and I'm going to emphasize that in the left hand too. So, or anything like that. Next, on this minor 2/5 that's going to C, instead of playing the minor 7 flat 5 chord, we're going to play a regular minor 7 chord that has the natural 5 and the natural 9. So this E natural becomes really important here. So it's like, sorry. That was a really bad example. Let me try that again. There we go. Let me do it again. One more time. All right, so on this C, instead of playing like linear like I've been doing in the past, now to open it up, I'm going to play more open, like fourths and fifths. So like, or so all together. And then over this 2/5, I'm playing an E pentatonic shape, and then kind of sidestepping that around, and then going down a half whole diminished scale, and landing somewhere on the A flat. So it's like, or something like that. Okay, you get the point. There's a bunch of concepts overriding it. So I'm just going to play one chorus that's kind of all out real quick here. So so that's the out chorus. That's a really fun one. And then the last step we're going to do is we're going to reflect the solo piano arrangement, and that's going to take us out of the tune. But in order to do that, first you have to have a solo arrangement. And that is a whole separate, not just video, series of videos, and a lot of stuff goes into that. But I'm just going to play through my solo arrangement for you and then show you how I'm kind of applying it to the last improvised chorus. And it kind of like ties it together. So... So that's the solo arrangement, and that's where we get into the vamp here. So the vamp is kind of like the bridge between that out of time melody and then starting to get into the solos. So the vamp is just going back and forth between E flat major and C major. So what's cool about this change, one, it just sounds really cool. Two, it's kind of implying C major versus C minor with that E flat, but instead of C minor, it's E flat major. Also, this E has been like vital to the reharms throughout the song because, earlier we were playing the D minor 7 with the natural 9 instead of with the flat 9 from the D minor 7 flat 5. And also over the 2-5 and A flat, we were playing this E major pentatonic thing. So the E is kind of like the path outside. And so I'm kind of hinting at that earlier in this vamp, which I'll just play it for you straight through. So coming off the tag. Into the solo. So you see that vamp goes right into the solo there. And then at the end, after we play, the whole tune, we're going to take this vamp out, and then I'm going to play the tag. I call this the tag. I'm going to play that over the vamp, but I'm going to rhythmically alter it so that every note gets one beat, and I think it puts in like 5 or something. I'll just play it for you. It's like... kind of fades out the arrangement. Oh yeah, the last thing is, the fourth improvised chorus is that reflection of the solo arrangement. So let's go through part by part and show you how I'm gonna work on that. So like solo arrangement starts. So it's those block chords, basically that diminished, going back and forth between the diminished sound and the major 6 or major 7. So I'm going to play lines that outline that, like or or something like that. So it's like it's a mirror, not a mirror. I don't know, some sort of reflection that it's being, listened to again, but through your improvisational filter. So it's going to come out in, different and unique ways. That next section, when I play that chord change there with the inner movement, I'm just going to hit that. So like I'll do and then this next section, this chord thing, I'm just going to break that up and play it. Or all that stuff, one way to get that is just somehow to just ingrain that in your musicianship over years of study, or you could arrange it at the beginning and work it in, and you got it right there. That's kind of how I do it. So it's not like I just am a musical genius that out of the blue I'm improvising and I just come up with this. It's something you practice. You work out the patterns and all the different arrangements, and eventually maybe that'll come up in another tune when I'm just flowing and improvising. But for now, I'm working it in. All right, so go through a whole chorus like that, and then that chorus slowly is going to turn into, back into the solo arrangement. It's going to get back out of time, and kind of like slow rubato out and do that groove out to the end, and that's the whole thing. So if you want to stick around, I'm going to play through the whole thing and try to give it a shot for you. To summarize, solo arrangement, vamp. Simple lines and bass notes is the first chorus. Second chorus is flowing complex lines with left-hand chords. Third chorus is taking it outside. Fourth chorus is reflecting the solo arrangement. And then there's the vamp out where you're quoting the melody. All right, I'm going to try this whole thing for you. Bear with me. And there you have it. As you can see, when I actually do it, all those choruses kind of blend together a little bit, which is good, and it's what you want. You don't want to have to force it, but after practicing enough, keeping those elements separate, they'll start to blend together just in the right amount. Just in the right amounts. So overall, what I want you to take away from all this is that there's architecture involved in great solo piano playing. It's not all random, and you can take some of these concepts into your own playing, and don't get caught up by the notes I'm playing or the voicings or any of that, but use what you've got and take a couple things that you've got worked out and spread them out as far as you can. Get all the music out of them that you can. So have fun, happy practicing, and download the notes page if you want an outline of the different elements here. All right, bye.
All right, well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Don't forget to go check out jazzpianoschool.com for more amazing free education. If you subscribe down below, we release a new podcast lesson just like the one you just saw every single Wednesday, and a new lick of the week every single Monday. So hope you guys have a fantastic day. Stay safe out there, and happy practicing.